So please close your eyes, relax your body. Be aware of your true self. Be aware that you are connected with the spiritual teacher. You are connected with God, spiritually rooted to God, one with God, one with all. To the Supreme Being, Divine Father, Mother, we thank you for your priceless blessings. We thank you for your divine guidance, divine help, divine protection, divine love and mercy, for the inner healing, physical healing. We thank you for blessing us with great abundance and prosperity. Please help us, Lord God, in this session so that we can express everything about our teacher, whatever we can, to inspire hearts, to inspire souls. We thank you to our teacher, Master Choa Kok Sui, Lord Mahaguruji Meli, to all the spiritual teachers and all the great ones, all the beings of light, love, healing, to all the spiritual helpers, the holy angels, and to our divine self. We thank you all for your priceless blessings, especially to our teacher, Master Choa Kok Sui. Please, please guide us, help us, shower your love, your mercy on us. Please be with us throughout this session and for the rest of our lives. We thank you in full faith. Inhale the blessings. Exhale, share it with your loved ones and others in the group. Inhale and exhale slowly and deeply. And whenever you're okay, you can slowly and gently open your eyes with a big, big smile.
So if you could make your voice a little bit more audible.
Okay. So,
Is it audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Syed sir, for joining today's session.
you're welcome,
This
Sudhi.
session.
But one of the things is like we have so many people. Why is hardly anyone showing their face? It will be nice to see human beings when we are in chat.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we would encourage everyone to please switch on your cameras.
Someone is
Please.
walking in the Himalayas.
I think some of them would literally be taking the adage, the soul is formless, and shutting off the cameras. We would encourage everyone to please switch on the cameras. All right. So I think the number of people attending this session proves that this session has been much anticipated. Uh, many of my co-practitioners whom I know have read the book, but they want to know more. Some of the people attending the session are new. They have not read the book so far. Before we begin the session, I would like to introduce the speaker to us. We have with us today Dr. Syed A. Afzal. Syed sir, uh, he's written the book Medical Guide for Pranic Healers, Pranic Living, and Sharanagathi, his latest launch, which is a compilation of stories of senior practitioners who have spent the time with Master Chua. Uh, Dr. Syed is a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. He's a licensed acupuncturist uh, based out of Canada, a holistic wellness consultant, and international trainer for pranic healing, as well as an author. He has experience of over 20 years in clinical practice, luxury wellness retreats, and holistic healthcare. His approach integrates traditional Chinese medicine with complementary healing modalities to support physical, emotional, and mental well being. He served as a visiting wellness practitioner to Waldorf Astoria, Maldives, one and one, only Riti Rao, Maldives, Jumeirah Ul Hahi Island, Maldives, and works with guests around the world, corporate leaders, celebrities, professional athletes, and international sports teams. Um, he has being personally trained by Master Chua and is a senior pranic healing trainer. He's conducted more than 1,500 workshops on meditation, stress management, personal and professional development, relationships, emotional well-being, and holistic healing. That's an illustrious track record. Welcome to you, sir. Currently,
I,
yeah,
I'm also impressed with that
yeah.
introduction. So I think I don't know where you got that from, but
I got from LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
ah, okay.
So the last time we spoke, so sir is currently in Hyderabad, with his parents. So welcome to India and also welcome to our session. Today, for some of us who don't know Syed sir has also written a book titled Sharanagathi, which is available in Amazon. And it is, I have personally read the book. I can say it's a must read for every practitioner of pranic healing and Arhatic yoga. We will delve more into the session today. So to begin with, so initially we'll have more of a podcast style session, and later we'll open the floor for questions to the people watching this. So to begin with, tell us a little bit about how your journey in pranic healing began.
Before we get started, I would like to thank you, Sudeep, for connecting with me and giving this opportunity. I think, especially this book, the previous books were good, but it served a specific purpose. And um, I think if someone else also takes some effort, they can also write those books. But this book specifically, it's like the core of. It's not that I'm bragging about myself. It's just that it was just the right time because some of the stories that I have collected from people, some of the very senior pranic healers, if they, if I would have delayed by even a year or so, I wouldn't have got their stories because their health is not that great. They are not connecting with people now and all of that. So the stories would have gone with them. So anyhow, so this, I'm just so thankful for this book. We'll come to that a little later. So I joined in pranic healing in 1996. And I can always say that all the way I see my life is life before pranic healing, life after pranic healing. So there was, so it's extremely transformational. Not that. So yeah, 1996, I learned pranic healing. I was still a university student. I was studying. Someone showed me a brochure of pranic healing. I don't know. I was just not able to wait. I did the workshop in Pondicherry to start with. And after that, really, there was no looking back. One or two things that really impressed me, even during the workshop, one of my friends, three of us, I think four of us went together from the university. And then Sushma Saldana, she was one of the pioneers in India. So to spread pranic healing. So she did some healing for the back. And this fellow was having so much of pain in the back. And in front of her eyes, just waving the hands. And and my friend, he told there was no pain. And that was the first time I was really extremely impressed with the system of healing. And but in the workshop, I could not feel anything. I don't know how many of you felt something during the workshop. I know most of them whom I have been teaching now, or whom most of them have been able to feel the energy, but I was not feeling any energy. But my trainers, my instructors, they told me that even if you don't, okay, someone is asking for password. Just a moment. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, sorry about that. So okay. Um, so so then immediately after that, there was a case of hiccups. I was still studying. So in our medical university, there was a case of hiccups where I think he had hiccups for almost 2 weeks, 14 days. And when he came to our department where they were giving treatment to relieve the lower back. And then I was treating someone. I just closed the door because not everyone was, in a medical university practicing at that time. It was not very comfortable for everyone, or people would say something. So I was just closing the door and then doing some healing to someone who had some other problem. And so he saw me doing that, and then he said, can you do the same thing for me? I don't know. I have this hiccups. So my trainers told me, okay, hiccups is one of the easiest things you can heal. So I started treating just the solar plexus chakra, and and the energy was quite congested. So it took almost more than almost 20 minutes for me to clean. Then I was energizing and cleaning and energizing, but nothing happened. The hiccups did not stop. So I was not really sure. I was just new into pranic healing, and then they told me that okay, now the background of this person is he had his eyes were extremely red. It was extremely red, and I asked him, like, why are your eyes so red? He told that's because I have been having hiccups. I told, I understand you have hiccups, but why are your eyes red? And then he told me, I have. I think someone has to mute. Because okay, yeah, I have muted. So he told me my hiccups has been there for the last 14 days, and I have not slept because the hiccup continues during the daytime and the nighttime. In the nighttime, I just put some pillows in front of me. I just lie down like this. I have not been able to sleep. So that was the condition. And then the doctors, the gastroenterologists really did not know what to do. They were thinking of doing some kind of surgery or something which they were not sure. So anyhow, so that was the background of this person. So the healing was being done. And then I was not sure what was going on. So I told him, okay, maybe even come tomorrow, you may need a few sessions. Then anyhow, so he came the next day, and then when he was entering our department, like his eyes were bright, and then like we knew that there was something that has changed in this person. And then when he came, he shook my hand and he was thanking, and he told, thank you so much. After 2 weeks, I have slept last night. When I asked him, like, when did the hiccups stop? When you left, there was this hiccups was still there. Because in pranic healing, you know the principle of time lag. So he told, no, by evening, like you did the healing in the afternoon, like 1 or 2 or something like that. But by 8 or 9, the hiccups gradually stopped. And so that was probably one of the most inspiring healings that was done, because I don't know if healing was not done to this person, what would he be his life? Because I know some people who have had hiccups for like 3 months, some of them for even 2 years, and eventually died with the hiccups. So I was extremely grateful for that healing. Then after that, it just continued, and 1998 January, I met Master Choa, and after that, things were totally different. Like I have never seen anyone like him. I don't think I will ever see anyone like him in this lifetime. Because first time when I met him, actually, it was just a small group of people whom we met, like I think about 10, 12 people. I just went all the way from Pondicherry to Chennai just because he was coming. I did not know what to expect, but I know that he's a teacher and he's the founder of Pranic Healing. So we'll just go meet him. They were all excited. So when he came, um, the moment he landed in the airport, he was brought to the healing center where he was inaugurating the healing center of Dr. Cliff Saldana. And the moment he came, I would think of myself, if I'm going to a place, I would just want to rest for a short period of time. But he came and he was just moving around the house. He was wearing a dark green shirt, a light pant, like a cream pant, and he was looking like a movie star. So he was just moving around, and he had a compass in his like he had his normal watch, and along with that, he also was wearing a compass. That was the time he was developing the pranic feng shui course. So the moment he entered, he came, he was just moving around. He was checking the vastu or the feng shui of every part of the house. And then he came, he started doing some experiments. And he was just showing us like what's the right entrance. So if you open this door, he told the entrance is just bringing the wrong energy. And then he asked one of us to keep our wallet. So we kept the wallet, and he asked us to scan the energy. He told us to scan for the prosperity energy. So we scanned the prosperity energy. It was quite low. Then he told, okay, now close the door, open the window, because the right energy has to come from through the window. This is the right direction. So then once again, we scanned and the energy was so strong, the prosperity energy. He told, do you see the difference? So that was the first time I started getting a glimpse of how pranic healing can be used in different aspects of our lives. So then afterwards, uh, after that, then I think that entire night was something that really got hooked me into pranic healing, apart from the healings and other things, because we went out. So I was just leaving the room because it was all the trustees who were going for the dinner. And then as I was leaving, Master Choa told me, "Are you not joining for the dinner?" I told, "No, Master, it's okay. You can carry on." He told, "No, no, no, come on, join, join." Then I was looking at my mentor, and he told, "Okay, just join." And then we went and joined. So we were all sitting together. And when we were sitting, another thing that happened, which I still remember very vividly, he was just keeping his hand like this, and just like it was like literally splashing energy, that small room which accommodated about maybe 10, 12 people, including mostly they were the trustees. And I could just see that the entire energy of that room was changing more. I could sense that golden energy in that room, as if everything was becoming like so light. It was like everything was like in 3D kind of things. So that was another experience for me. And the next day morning, and I think that was the first time I witnessed his healing. There were about, I think, about 2,000 people, something like that. It was a mass darshan and a public darshan, including Twin Hearts meditation. So that was being done. And then I think after the Twin Hearts meditation, he told, okay, how many of you have some neck pain? How many of you have headaches? So as people were standing up, he was just invoking for the blessings, and he told, you are healed. And then he asked, okay, how many of you have headaches? Then he was healing them. Then people, about maybe 60, 70, 80 people were standing up with neck pain. And then he was invoking, and then he was telling, okay, he was just waving his hand. He told, you are healed. So like this, in no time, I think the entire crowd of, I don't know, maybe about 500 to 1,000 people stood up. I don't exactly remember, but everyone was healed. So me studying in a medical university at that time, and then seeing that someone is doing this in no time, all my logical understanding of disease, human body, all that was just disappearing. So that was my first experience with Master Choa, and then after that, there was no looking back. I was attending all his programs and everything there, wherever he was. We were trying to do my best to be in his most of his programs. So this is just a quick introduction about myself. 96, yes, 96 I joined Pranic Healing. 97 I became a trainer.
Very inspiring. So some participants are saying if you could, bring your mic closer because voice is not that audible.
Okay. Okay, is this better?
It is much better. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So thank you so much for sharing your stories. The next question is, why did you decide to write the book Sharanagathi, and why is it named as Sharanagathi?
Okay. Why is it decided? Okay, I would like to make it clear that I'm not an author. I never thought I would write anything. It was just, especially, I'll not even talk about the earlier books, but I'll talk about just this book, Sharanagathi, because I had been living in Canada for many years. I used to go to the US and some other countries, and wherever I used to go, people would, during the class, when you're teaching pranic healing, obviously people want to know who the founder is, and then they want to know more about him. And at that time, I would share my experiences, just like how I shared just maybe two or three with you. Like this, there are quite a bit of experiences. So I used to share depending on people, how much they are receptive and how much they are more mental. So depending on the group, I would share accordingly. And I noticed that the receptivity towards the teacher, towards the guru, was so much more, and people could see that he was not just an ordinary lecturer or a teacher. He was a greater soul, much more than what we could, most of us, have seen or could imagine. So when I could do that, I started seeing that students were really inspired. At least most of them were inspired. And then I started thinking that when I started listening to some of the others also sharing some of the stories, I started thinking that what has been written about Master Choa? There is really nothing much out there. Like when I was reading the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda, I'm not sure how many of you have read his book. Many of them, including I think Steve Jobs and many of the very popular people, they all have read this book and they say one of the most influential book in their lives. I heard that Steve Jobs used to read this every year. And many people have said that this is one of the classics. So, and Paramahamsa Yogananda had mentioned that even after I leave my body, this book will be my messenger and it will bring many souls into Kriya Yoga. And as you know, Master Choa's one of the first two recommended books is Autobiography of Yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda. So that's one of the things that I was thinking. Like when he has written so much about him, his guru, and all of that, but except for the book Origin of Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga, where there are some very deep stories or very deep experiences, and the book Guru, it's a nice book, but I felt there is so much. I felt there is so much more that can be shared about Master Choa because this is an this is like everyone has a different experience. Every moment of Master Choa's life, it was miraculous in some way or the other. It was not that he was always performing miraculous healing. Every moment of his life, he was a walking, talking miracle. And I was watching one of this series of Sai Baba, and when I was watching, there were about 1,300 series. So every 30 to 40 minutes, there was one TV serial, and it lasted. There were about 1,300. So I was thinking, Sai Baba was living about 100 years ago. There is so much that has been recorded about his life. Now, if we want to make something about Master Choa, what is it that we can really do? How many serials can we really create? And the answer was not much actually. And when I was sharing with one of the senior students of Master Choa in Africa, East Africa, who's one of the co-founders there, I was telling like 50 years later, there'll be hardly anyone to even share any stories with Master Choa, especially those personal stories of those who have spent time with him. And he told it's not even 50 years, Dr. Syed. It is like less than 30 years, if you really think about it. I'm not sure if people are going to be there so long to even share the stories. And then I come from an Islamic background, and the life of the Prophet Muhammad, every bit of his life has been recorded. Every bit of his life, the way he used to sleep, the way he used to interact with people, the way he used to eat, the way he used to sit down, everything was written down, and there are volumes and volumes that have been written about him. So my thinking was like, we have lived with him. He's just lived with. We have been with him. In what way is it right on my part? At least if I why not I do something about this? This is how it started. I just started writing my own stories. Then I started adding one or two more stories, and then from there it just went on. I was just invoking every time, Master Choa, I'm doing your work. Please bless me, please guide me to show the right people, whoever has to share your story. And slowly, things started happening. It's not that people used to write everything. If you read the book, you see that the whole book is in a certain format. So not that every out of I think 14 people who have shared these stories, there were more people actually. So I had to make it into volume one because it was just becoming bigger and bigger. So then I had to. Um, so I just had to make it into a shorter thing where it's about 14 stories, and each story has a totally different flavor to it. So yeah, that's how the book was started. That's how it was started, and I used to, and over a period of time, as and when you, the book has a certain way of it being written, and not everyone. There is just one person who was the vice president of the All India Pranic Healing Foundation, Mr. Sushil Joseph. He wrote one of the like a few pages, and he was the only person who had written. Everyone else, it was just a telephone conversation or when I just randomly met them in one of the retreats, as they were talking, I quickly recorded their talks. One of them, I just told, okay, we'll have a consultation. They thought I'm going to have some healing session. Then I just started asking them randomly. One of them in the US. So then I recorded sessions. So like this, in different ways, according to different the way I was able to approach people. That's how it happened. It was not easy because sometimes for something I would ask them some correction, and sometimes they would respond back after almost 2 months' time. So many things like this. Sometimes they would say that, okay, we'll share you some pictures. No news from them for 1 or 2 months, or sometimes even 3 months. So there were many different times, different things had happened. Some of them were not wanting to share their stories. They just want to keep it very personal. So there were lots of different things. But one thing that I was noticing was whenever it was like extremely exhausting, because there's lots of work connected with that, writing down everything, transcribing, writing it according to their flavor or the way they spoke and everything. So as this was being done, sometimes I was extremely exhausted. Then Master Choa would come in my when I'm sleeping. He would just smile and he would say something. He would say, or maybe there is some teaching going on, something like this. And I've noticed that most of the time, whenever I was feeling exhausted, or I was just telling Master what is going on, like, because it had taken almost 5 6 years for me to continue to write this, and it has taken hours together sometimes actually. So it was very interesting. The entire journey was very interesting. Just like the way Master Chova had mentioned, like he once mentioned that once he wrote the book, the basic pranic healing, like miracles. What was the basic? The ancient science and art of pranic healing. He mentioned that like he was in a convent. He was like in a small room that was given to him, and that story I have added in this book. So where he had to write down the entire book, and it was not easy. It was an extremely difficult task because that was the first time an art, a healing art, was made into a science. So, and he was instrumental in that. So it took. So, and I remember him, one of the retreats, he was telling that once this book came out, I was so exhausted, I didn't even want to look at the book. And that was how it felt like once this book was published. Okay, now I'll really take a break for at least a few months before I even move to the volume 2. So, and why Sharanagathi? The name Sharanagathi. There were lots of names that were coming. I was thinking we'll write maybe the golden days with Master Choa or something like that. But it was not like really. I needed something much more deeper, and as I was meditating, and this was there always at the back of my mind. That name just popped into my mind. It was like as if someone dropped that name into my mind, Sharanagathi, and that was it. There was no looking back. I did not have to change the name. So yeah. So this is how the book came, and this is why this name came. You can also share in like I think even maybe if someone else also wants to just I don't know, Sudeep, like just because I'm speaking, I'm not sure what is touching you, inspiring you. What is it that you'd like me to talk more about, or something like that? So I know you probably are going to ask me more, but even if the readers they want to share something or they want to, it's up to them.
Yeah, so we'll keep questions to the end actually.
Oh, okay.
We will have questions to the end. We'll have some time for that for sure. Very inspiring. It's inspiring to know you spent 6 years altogether just for the first volume. Now, next question. What are some of the empowering experiences you've had with Master Choa? You have shared the experiences of others in the book, but what are some of your experiences you've had with Master Choa? If you can, put more emphasis on some of the miracles and the stories.
My story is complete. But I have not added that just out of respect to the other seniors who had come at least like 2 3 years, or I came in 96. So most of them with whom I have shared the stories have come around 92 or 93. Like and these have been pioneers. Literally, they have been like helping in spreading pranic healing in India. So out of that respect and just trying to be a little uh, yeah, just out of respect to them, I did not want my story, and then I had added their story. So with my some of the most empowering many experiences, but I think instead of just going to the miracles of pranic healing, miracles were just happening left and right. So you don't even have to ask about it. You can read the books to see how many things were happening just being around Master Choa. But apart from that, one of the things that I had noticed is the urgency that he had. I think many of you probably know that he knew his time, his day, when he was leaving his body, almost like 11 years ago, when I was even talking with Master Faith about this. She was sharing some of her experiences, but one of the experiences is where he had exactly told when he's going to leave, almost 11 years ago, 1994 or 95, that he will be leaving in 2007 March 19, something like that. So, and there was always a sense of urgency, because some of the other trustees with whom I had known, they used to say that Master used to just call them and say that, okay, what's going on? How many students are you producing? How many books have you been able to sell? Or not that Master Cho was taking the money, but he just wanted the books to be the more number of people to so that pranic healing can reach out to more number of people. So there was always this sense of urgency, and then he was trying to do his best in order to make the students with whom he was, like, to really help them in growing in different levels. So I'll just share one of the experiences. Like, he's done so many, like whenever he used to give Shaktipat, which is spiritual empowerment, it was amazing experiences. But once um, I remember in one of the retreats in Bangalore, he was, after the class was over, Master Choa stood like this, and then I think we were about maybe about 150, 175 people. And then he was asking us, okay, look into my eyes, look into my eyes. And we were all looking to his eyes. And after that, something was happening to the body. Something was happening to the body where the physical feeling was fading away, and it was just the feeling of energy. It was just like we were feeling like balls of golden energy kind of thing. And then the next question, as we were looking into his eyes, he was asking, how many of you feel like you are melting? And that was the exact experience that we were having. It was like the whole being was dissolving. So, and then that effect lasted for a long period of time. And okay, now why have I shared this story? Because I can share so many other experiences of Shaktipati. That's one of the things that we can share about how we used to feel after his class. But this specific thing I'm sharing because later on, when I was in Canada, I had once Ma Charlotte had come to our home. She came to our home, and I had asked. I don't know if I spoke there or one of the hotels where she was staying, but I was speaking to her, and she was telling that Master Choa was doing everything that was possible by him to help the students evolve rapidly so that they can spread the teachings. And I understood that. That also was still okay for me. Then she told, once what he did was like, and I specifically knew that this was probably that moment. So he was actually taking, we were about 175 people. And then when he was asking us to look into his eyes, and then he was asking us if we were melting, he was taking all of us in his heart chakra. So that when she was explaining that, that's when that really clicked. And this happened after many years, actually. I think at least so many years later on. But that was the time I realized that this was what he was also doing once in a while, where he took all of us in our heart chakra, and we were getting a glimpse of his level of consciousness. We still cannot even touch his consciousness, but at least a glimpse of his consciousness by totally feeling this melting sensation, or like this balls of golden light we were feeling, which stayed there for many days. It was like one of the someone, the way they describe is, you feel like a feather. So that was the experience. And then she was telling that when he was taking with, she was upset with that. She was taking, I had been telling Master not to do that because his health was getting affected, but still he would not listen to me. He would still do that. So she took all of them, like, so he was mentioning that, sorry, she was mentioning that, and she was telling that he used to get contaminated. Can you imagine, like, if we are healing someone or someone of slightly lower energy, like, we easily get contaminated, we need to disconnect and all of that. But here he was taking all of the students in his heart chakra. So that was something that was really touching for me, the kind of sacrifice he had to do. And it was not like once in a while thing he was doing it. He was doing it like every week. He was in weekend, he was in a different country or a different continent. And wherever he was going, he was doing something similar. He was teaching. And sometimes his classes would go on till like midnight, past midnight. Many times that had happened. And and then he would do healing, not just for one or two people. Sometimes thousands of people would come. Then he had to write books. Then he had to create courses. I don't know. It's just mind-boggling the kind of life he had, because he knew that he had a short period of time in order to do that. And once I remember that we were in one of the senior retreats. Usually the junior retreat, there were about 700, 800 people. And as we move on to the senior retreat, I didn't remember it was level 2 or level 3, whichever it was. But I think we were about 150 people. And then I think it was almost close to midnight. And at that time, he told, okay, next day I will come around somewhere in the afternoon. Like, then some of the students over there, they were telling that, no, master, can you please come earlier? It will be nice to have you. So they were expecting them to be earlier, like maybe 10 or something like that, because the retreat would start like 9 or something like that. So then later on, he explained, in the olden days, the gurus used to have of very few chelas or disciples. It was easy for them. So all they had to do is just bless them and then go away, and then they would do their practice, something like that. But here, I am not just feeding you. I'm not just feeding your body. I have to feed your higher soul also. And it takes tremendous amount of energy to feed 150 souls. And so in that process of giving the energy, or like giving this Shakti, it's not just the energy that goes out of my body, it's even the energy from my cells also is going out, and it causes wear and tear of my cells, the cells of my physical body. So it needs time for it to rejuvenate. So that's why I want to come a little later. And that was the first time we were all really knowing that, okay, what kind of sacrifice he was doing. And then we all told, no, master, please take your own time. You can come whenever you want to. But there was that kind of sacrifice. And this was not just in one place. Wherever he used to go, this is how he used to do. And the kind of humility that he had, like, it was very common in India, especially people touching his feet, right? And when even the students are touching the feet of the guru, it's easy for the teacher to get contaminated. There were not just few students, like hundreds and thousands of students were always there. And so once we were there as I think 5 or 6 of us were selected as his like bodyguards. So in the retreat, wherever he used to walk, we would walk around him, and just so that we were preventing people from coming close to him and touching his feet, because he was not very comfortable. He was practicing his own level of humility, not wanting others to touch his feet and that kind of thing. So that time he just there was someone who had a stroke, like her sister or another lady had brought him. Then this gentleman, he should have been about 25 years old. And so he was not able to talk. He was he was limping, like, the person with stroke, hemiplegia or stroke, how it is. And then Master Choa, as we were walking, she stood, and she told Master, can you please do healing? And so then Master Choa held that lady's hand and then touched this part of the body, like the part which was affected, the brain, the spinal cord. And after that, he told that lady that he told to that person who was standing there, what is your name? Before that, he was not able to speak and he was not able to walk. We could see that. And after that, he asked, and he was slowly starting to speak. And then after that, he told, okay, now why don't you keep putting your steps? And so he was taking small steps. And after that, he told, okay, then he told, okay, after some time, he told, start jogging on the spot. I think in a minute's time or so, this person was literally jogging on the spot. And then when Master Cho was asking him to speak his name, he was speaking it much, much more clearly. And then as we were walking, then he did that. He just moved his hand like this. He told, stabilize and absorb. He just instructed the energy. I still remember his words. He just told, stabilize, absorb. And then he walked away, Master Choa, and then we started following him. And the trustee who was there, he told, wow, Master, this is like a miracle. And you know what? You know what his reply was? He told, God is all merciful. God is all powerful. With him, everything is possible. And that was it. There was nothing else he said about it. So that was the kind of humility that he had. And sometimes we used to see that there were groups of people whom he would just wave his hand and he would heal. He'll say no pain, and then the pain would go away. People will check there is no pain and all that. And then, out of the extreme humility that he used to practice, he would always say that I am just waving my hands. It is my teacher who's doing the healings. So that really, those instances, that one is like learning humility. The other one is um, there are lots of things that being there, witnessing that, we could know that we all one day, maybe some incarnation, we will become like that, because eventually that's his whole goal of Arhatic yoga, because level 6 and 7 is when a person becomes an Arhat, and higher levels. And Master Choa, if you read his The Origin of Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga, the Great Vision, he says that at least in the next 150 years, at least how many? At least 3 holy masters. So he was one of the holy masters. And so at least 3 people would, from whoever it is, would come out as a holy master. So the whole idea is everything that he was teaching, he was also sharing. And there was always this level of humility that he had. And I remember in one of the retreats, he always reminded us that he said that don't get too proud, don't get big headed if you are having good results, something like that. I'm not able to exactly use those right words, but something that was the context. And then he said, in my case and your case, like we were in a retreat, so there are obviously 200, 300 people. He said, I am the sun, you are the moon. You are reflecting the light that is passing through me. And in my case, and my teacher's case, he's the sun and I am the moon. I don't have anything of my own. It is that I'm reflecting the energy of the light of the teacher. And my teacher's case and his teacher's case, he's the moon, his teacher is the sun, and eventually God is the only sun. We are all moons reflecting his energy. So that really gives perspective, accurate perception, and correct expression. When we are becoming extremely powerful healers, when we say something, things are materializing. I just keep remembering that, like, there is nothing really of my own. And many times we used to do that experiments where he would say that, okay, just say that I'm disconnected from the aura of the teacher. Instantly, we become like the energy shrinks like anything, and you don't even want to be in that state of being even for a short period of time. So so we become like a deflated balloon. And in The Origin of Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga, he said that how some of the senior students, they had spiritually fallen because of the pride and some of those weaknesses. I don't want to go too much into those details, but if you read that book, you can see that. So yeah, these are some of the experiences, very empowering moments that I had where I had so all these experiences were there.
Thank you so much. I wish we could hear more. It's so interesting to hear those experiences. Next question, sir. What were the deep insights you had as you were writing the book Sharanagathi?
Uh, how much time do we have? I am
We can continue. We can continue. Not a problem.
okay.
As long as
So
you're okay.
yeah, I can go on. I
Yeah.
don't have any problem. Sometimes just giving a talk about the teacher is so much more empowering and more energizing than doing a meditation. Actually, the energy just flows like crazy. So, what was your question?
Deep insights. Yeah.
Deeper
Deep insights.
insights, right? Deep insights. Okay.
As you were writing the book Sharanagathi. Yeah.
Yes. So, still मांगे more. Okay. So, where was I? So as I was writing the book, each person was totally different. Like if you read the story of Dr. Cliff Saltana, extremely intelligent or intellectual person, the way he used to analyze everything scientifically, his story has a total different flavor. And then you have someone like Sudhir Bhai, Mr. Sudhir Gandhi. He talks about Master Choa as his father, spiritual father, or like father. Doesn't even use the word spiritual father. He's always like a father, and the way Master Choa used to take care of him. And Commander Reddy, he was in the, I think he was in the Air Force, and then amazing experiences. But one of the things that I noticed is each person was attracted. There was a first aha moment for some of them, and each one came into pranic healing differently. For some of them, some very simple, basic things like in the beginning of pranic healing, someone says that, or like the instructor says that use intelligent evaluation. Do not blindly accept anything that is being told. That itself was good enough for some of them to connect with the teachings and then the teacher. Like if this person can really ask you to question, then this person should really be smart enough to really know the subject in such a deep level. So that was one of the experiences. And who else? Rocky Patel, one of the persons from the US. I had met him in Arizona, a very good friend of mine. So he mentioned that the first time, his story is amazing. His story is really amazing if you read it. Please read this book. If you have not bought this book, you are really missing out something. It will really connect you with Master Choa at a total different level. And that is the whole idea of this book. So Rocky Patel, he mentioned that first time or something when I went to one of the retreats, he had taken the basic course or something like that. He went to the clairvoyant course, and at that time, Master Choa was giving a clairvoyant Shaktipat. So when he was giving the clairvoyant Shaktipat, the chakras were opening, the webs were opening, and then he could see flashes of light everywhere, and then which he had never seen anything before like that. And he told, I knew that this man has the juice. That is the exact word he told me. This man has the juice, and I didn't want to let go of him. So wherever I used to go, I used to travel with him. So, and once he was with Master Glenn, and then Master Choa had blessed the, I think it was a pool or something like that. And then Master Glenn had asked him to scan, and they were scanning, and then the energy of that extended for almost 100 miles. Just the blessing of that place. And Rocky Patel, he also mentions that once, like he's like I don't know, he's like a dolphin. He'll always be swimming most of the time. Whenever I was there with him in some programs, the moment he gets a little bit of time, he'll be in the swimming pool. And then Master Chowa really liked him so much because, and he had taught him some of the inner teachings of aromatherapy, where he had mentioned about the different color pranas of different essential oils. For example, the lavender has lots of violet prana. Sandalwood, sage, they have lots of green prana and some other pranas. So like this different color pranas. I think a little bit has been mentioned in all the other books also I have written. I think the medical guide for pranic healers. The books I have written, I think it has a little bit about his teachings where Rocky had shared with me. And one of the places where Rocky shares is he says that once he was I don't know okay which story to share. So there were two stories where the swimming pool was blessed by Master Choa. And then after that, they were all, I think even now they do that. But Master Choa's level of blessing is a total different level, right? So he bless the place, bless the swimming pool so that people can do their Sharanagathi or they can do their twin hearts meditation and do their blessings. And then it's like having a deep cleanse, like cleansing in the Ganga. So, and I remember, okay, so this was the background. And then Rocky was telling that, okay, so then after later on, so this was in the heart of the downtown. And then we were going out of downtown. And as I was traveling outside the downtown, I turned back, I saw that the whole downtown, I'm not sure if everyone knows what a downtown is. Like in most of these Western countries, there'll be the main marketplace where there is all these high-rise buildings are there, where all the offices are there. It's called downtown. So it's like a place for like commercial settings. And Rocky turned back and he said that, Master, why is the downtown, the city is glowing like a sun. The downtown is really glowing like a sun. And then Master Choa turned back. He said, oh, I forgot to take back the blessing. Can you imagine? So that was one of the experiences. Another experiences, I know, okay, I think I will not go into too many experiences that you have to read the book, but you are asking about the insights. So for Rocky Patel, these were some of the insights, and he was attracted to pranic healing in this way. And then Commander Reddy, one of the stories who had shared. Though he mentioned that he was in the command, like I think he was 17th, 18th year in the Air Force or something like that. But he went there. So he told he had to go to this place where the mountain or the retreat was in the hill area. It was, I think it was Mudumalai, if I'm not mistaken. But they, so it was surrounded with hills, and then the retreat was happening in that area. And then so the earlier day, the previous day, they left, and the train was delayed by a few hours. And after that, they went, and so then they had to walk for few kilometers together. So overall, the journey was extremely exhausting. By the time they reached their room, which was where they were supposed to reach in the evening, they reached almost like close to like maybe around 9, 10, 10:30, something like that, late night. And he told every inch of my body was painful. We were so tired with the whole day of traveling, staying there, and then walking, because the place where we were staying was not just close to the retreat center or the place where the program was going on. We had to walk almost 2 3 kilometers, and then there was no vehicle also. It just took us maybe 1 kilometer. The rest we had to walk. So this was the background, and then four of them were staying in a room. So the program started at 6 in the morning, so they had to get up at 4 to have shower and get ready. So they were extremely exhausted. That morning, so much of exercises they had to do. He told that was still exhausting. Then later on, Master Choa came and he did the Kundalini meditation. And the Kundalini meditation was being done. And he told, like, it was still so difficult for me to sit down because my entire body was tired. Then the next thing Master Choa said, he was telling that at that time, that was the time I just wanted to get out and then just go out for a walk because I could not even sit. Then later on, so he told there were about 60 people. I think there were 6 people in a row, or maybe 5 people in a row, something like that. But there were about 10 rows or 12 rows, something like that. So it was like a small, it was not too many people, 60 people. So which would be about 20 meters or something like that, approximately. So, and he was relatively new. And then after that, what happened was, then Master Chowa told, okay, we will do the meditation on the Guru. He told, I have no idea what meditation on the Guru means. But I thought, oh my goodness, another meditation. And then he just sat down there. And then later on, after that, Master Chowa told, you are all within my aura. You are all, it was just 60 people, so it's not a big deal actually. So he told all of you are within my aura. And then he was telling that I was specifically thinking, I think many people also had this doubt. They were thinking that in the basic course, we know that everyone's inner aura is basically like 5 inches, 6 inches, something like that. The outer aura is about 1.5, 2 meters, something like this. How can this master say that, or how can this teacher say that we are all inside his aura? We are almost 20 meters. How can this aura be so big? This was the thought that came into his mind. And he was, the way he described this, we were on the top of this hill, and the next hill closest to us was at least about 8 to 10 kilometers away. We could see it from a very, like, it was far away. 8 to 10 kilometers is quite far, right? So then that was the next hill. And so then the moment these thoughts came into these people, like especially Commander Reddy, he mentioned that the moment I had that thought, how can all of us fit in his aura, or how can he encompass all of us within his aura? The next moment, Master Choa told, do not doubt. The hill that is behind you, which is almost 8 to 10 kilometers, is also inside my aura. So then he told, after that, I don't know what he did. My body became so light, as if like I could continue meditation for hours together. All that tiredness just vanished like anything. And I did not feel anything. I was just feeling like a mass of energy, something like that. He was explaining, but he told I could sit down for so many hours together. So that was the way he entered. He told the way he explained was just because this person is wearing like a normal shirt and a pant, he's not an ordinary master or like an ordinary teacher. He was way beyond that, which you and I are, at least on the first time, we were not able to understand. If you don't understand, if you are not that sensitive to energy. So that was his entry point into pranic healing. Then who else? Okay, one more interesting thing was, like, there is a person, and this is not there in this volume. I have I'll be adding that in the next volume. Okay, so this person, so he came from Africa. He was a hardcore businessman. He said that he used to drink. I'm not sure if he was eating pork, but anyhow, so he was a big time meat eater, and he used to drink. A hardcore businessman. So then, anyhow, Master Choa, he came from Africa, and then he just came, and they were in the Hyatt Hotel, if I'm not mistaken, the hotel. And then Master Choa and some of the other trustees were there. I think they were having dinner or something like that, or they were having some meeting. And at that time, he came, he sat down because I think Sriram called him, and then he came, he sat down, and they were all sitting together. They were talking, and then there was interaction going on. And then he was curious to know. And then he suddenly asked Master Choa this question. He asked him, listen to this. He asked him, Master Choa, how did you get into this business of pranic healing? And he says that the moment I asked that question, how did you get into this business of pranic healing? The moment I asked that question, it was as if I had done something totally, I had uttered something totally wrong. Everyone was so quiet. They were like looking at each other, or they did not know how to react, because no one would ever speak like this to Master Choa. Anything he says, yes, Master, thank you, Master. This was our normal thing. And here he was saying something like this. And then Master Choa, he did not react. And then after some time, he just thought for it for some time. And then he replied back to him. And he said, I took this incarnation to establish the school of pranic healing. And that was the turning point in his life. So everyone had a different way. He said that 2 years later, we don't know what our future is, and he's no more now. So he's left his body. But he said that even 2 years later, or like we don't know what is the next step in our lives. And here we have a soul, a great soul, who exactly has designed his life. And he had come specifically to establish the school of pranic healing. And so then he said that after that, I didn't even want to face him. Like I was feeling so guilty, so bad that I was always escaping from him. And then the rest of the story will come later on. So, but what I started noticing is like the insights, or like different people had different ways of entering into pranic healing. Now, some of the things, like as I was writing the book, I think it has changed the way I started looking at things. One of the things is that this is a very interesting story with Shakun Goyal. So she had mentioned that after conducting a class, in the evening, Master Choa said, take me to a place where it is crowded. And then she was thinking, and then she said that there is this place called Sarojini Nagar or something like that, Sarojini Nagar, if I'm not mistaken, in Delhi. So she told, okay, we'll go to Sarojini Nagar, Master. And he told, what is it? He told, it's a marketplace. Okay, we will go. So I think there was another person and Master, and I think 3 people or 4 people, they went in their car. And then she said that it was winter time. So obviously it's somewhere like December or January, something like that. And then Master Choa, he got down out of the car, and then he could feel the pain of people around. It was winter time. People did not have even shawls to protect themselves properly from that winter cold. And it is quite cold. It's not like Canada where everything is centralized and centrally heated or like all of that. Here, there is hardly any heating system. So this was, I think, in the early 90s. So maybe now things have changed a little bit, but these are just people in the market. So obviously there is no heating system. They're just ordinary shops, and the temperature may be around 2 to 5 degrees or maybe maximum 10 degrees, something like that. And then definitely around 2 to 5 degrees, something like that, because it's cold. And even if it is still below 10 degrees, people are not used to that cold, right? So anyhow, so he was feeling what was going on among all these people. He was sensing this energy. And then afterwards, he just had a look, and there was a place where they were selling shawls. And then he went there. I think that she said that there were about 300 to 400 shawls there. And then she thought maybe he's just going to buy maybe a few shawls. If you and I are there, maybe we'll go buy maybe 5 shawls, give it to 5 people. And that's it. That's the best we can do. He went there. He told, I want to buy your all the shawls in your shop. So almost 300 to 400 shawls, they bought it. And then he told, okay, so then we will start distributing to everyone. And he did not stop with that. He had, at that time, I think in early 90s, I'm not sure how many of you are, I think this is India, so we should know. Like, I think on an average, many of them were earning about 5, 6,000, 7,000, something like that. That was the average salary, or maybe even like 5,000 was the average salary for in the early 90s of a common person. So, and in that he was keeping 500 rupees currency in each and every shawl, and he gave it to every person. Like he in the sense, like they all distributed that entire evening, they distributed. And when they were distributing, when he bought all that shawls, the thing is, this is what I really wanted to impress here. She told, Master, if you would have told me that I would buy, no, if you wanted to buy all the shawls, I would have taken you to a different place where the shawls are much, we can bargain and we can get it at a discounted price. He stopped her and he told her, promise me that you will not bargain with these people. Who needs the money more, them or you? God has blessed us with so much. So do not bargain with these kind of people and promise me that you will not do that. And she said that was it. After that, there was no more bargaining. Even now, I have trouble with my mother because she's an expert in bargaining. I think most of the Indian mothers are, especially ladies, are experts in that. So even now, like auto person or anyone, taxi driver, any person coming with vegetables, everyone, like they keep bargaining. Anything that they ask, I just give it to them. Maybe it's 10 rupees extra, 100 rupees extra. So what? It's a big deal. So, but after that, I have never done that. Another thing that I have been always following is, like, there was one of the stores where in they went to Dubai, and there was a store where they were selling some nice plates with lots of designs and all of that, and then there was no one in that shop. So normally, when you and I are maybe looking at something like that, we'd say that, oh, poor guy, he's not having a business today. But Master Choa, he went, he bought, he bought some quite a few plates and cutleries and all of that, and then he gave it to this person, the prani killer with him. And when I think it was Shakun, yeah. And then once again, when she asked him, like, I don't, he gave it to him and told, yeah, I did not buy it for myself, I bought it for you. He told, why did you buy it for me, master? I don't need this. He told, this lady in the store, she needed my prosperity energy. So that's why I had bought this. Can you imagine the level of his thinking was totally at a different level? Another thing that really impressed me was a story. That story is also not here. This is in volume 2. So where in Hyderabad, they were walking in a street. And these were some of the most incredible stories. It's very simple things, but something that I think I would follow for the rest of my life. So they were walking, and then this person, this old man, he was pushing this cart selling biscuits, or would say cookies. You know how they sell, like a small cart they were pushing on the streets, and then they have so many cookies or biscuits, and then they're selling it. So and then there were a few more people from the Andhra Foundation, or some of the students, they were walking together on the street. And then Master Chova just stopped there and he saw this person. Then there was another very senior student of Master Chova, his name is Acharya Shashi. And so he told Shashi, buy all the biscuits. And then he told, Master, there are so many biscuits in this. What are we going to do? We are just a few people, handful of people. What are we going to do with those biscuits? I told, just buy the biscuit. Just, what was this one? Just do what I'm saying. Something like that. So then, as usual, everyone would say, yes, Master, thank you, Master. And then he went and bought those biscuits. And then they distributed among themselves. Then there's still so many biscuits. And he told, okay, go distribute to those who want the biscuits. Just distribute to others also. Then later on, he asked, Acharya Shashi, he asked, Master, why did you buy all these biscuits? Like, you know that we are just a few people and we don't need this. And then Master Choa said, did you notice this person? He was pushing, he was old, he was tired. He had been probably pushing from the morning. And he had so many, he would probably just sell a few biscuits that the rest of the day. And then he has to come back tomorrow, then day after tomorrow. So it will probably take a long time for him to sell all those biscuits. I just wanted to make his life more easier so that he can go spend time with his family. So I just bought all the biscuits, and that was it. So when I get some opportunity like this, I just always think of something like this. Another story. He was always encouraging us to give tips. And he was telling, give tips not like a conjuice, not like a stingy person with small, give a big amount, give a decent amount so that they can really use that. And so this also is from volume 2, where because volume 1, I think you will all be reading it, but some of them stories, these are smaller stories. These are and some of them which I've been really impressed with. So in Mumbai, they had this, after Master Choa had passed, then the next year they conducted some program in Mumbai. And so then they had a big picture of Master Choa and all of that. As usual, we have a big photo of Master Choa. And then as they were having the program, the manager of that, I think that hall or something like that, he came, of the hotel or something like that, he came uh, running to them, knowing that Master Choa was there, and asking like, where is Master Choa? Like, where is he? I wanted to see him. And then they told, no, he actually passed away last year. Then he was so sad, and he was not a pranic killer. He was so sad, and then people are not there wondering like, why is he behaving like this? Why is like he's not even a pranic killer? Why is he behaving like this? Then later on, they asked him, like, why, what really happened? What's the connection between you and Master? Then he said that last year or the year before, when Master had come here, after the program was over, he just gave me an envelope. And when I later on, like, I thought maybe there is just a small tip or something like that. When he went and opened the envelope, he saw that the tip was equivalent. He said that the tip was equivalent to many months of my salary. So this is just one person, like this innumerable, so many stories. Wherever we go, this was something that we would hear. I think like there's not enough time. You have to read the book to really see different instances where he had been extremely generous. So all these things I have been like, for me, this has really touched. This has touched, and there are so many moments when he was extremely humble. And I think I'll just share one more story. Do I have time?
We have time. We have time.
Okay.
No problem.
So this was a story that was shared by Sudhir Gandhi. I'm not going into all the details, but that's one of the last chapters in the book. And just today, Sudhir Bhai, he just messaged me. He was thanking me. He was telling me that I could not, all the emotion that I wanted to express, you have been able to put in words, and it is so beautiful. And I was just in tears, reliving those moments with Master Choa. He had had a very close connection with Master Choa, and he was more like a father. And then Master Choa would also scold him like that sometimes, and it's very interesting to read those stories. You can read that sometimes. So all that stories. But one instance where he had an accident, and Sudhir Gandhiji, he was lying in his bed with a cast and all of that, and then this was the time the ashram inauguration was about to happen, and there were many donors who had come from other countries to donors for the ashram. Sorry. And so there were many donors. And then he came, Master Choa, I believe, he used to come every time he used to come to Mumbai, he would always visit Sudhir Bhai's home. And so he came, he met Sudhir Gandhiji, and he was as usual, he used to ask about his business, his family, and all of that. And then he used to ask about the ashram work, because he was one of the main in charge of the ashram project. And then he said, Sudhir Bhai said that, Master, last almost a week or so, it has been constantly raining. So the ashram inauguration, I think this was on the 11th or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's 10th or 11th, but it was just 4 days from the time of the inauguration of the ashram. There were donors who had come. The ashram has to be inaugurated, and it was raining like crazy. It was raining, I wouldn't say crazy, but it was raining like anything. And then they were cleaning, and some of them, they had some like small blisters also, because they were cleaning the meditation halls and all of that, because there's so much of rain coming inside. And Hemal Shah was there. Hemalji was there, and Who was that? Acharya Daphne was there. So, and they were also, so then he told, I believe Master Choa told, okay. So Sudhir Bhai, he actually told Master Choa, it has been raining so much and they don't know what to do. The whole ashram is flooded with like there's so much of water in the ashram. And after that, he told, okay, call Daph. This is Acharya Daphne. Then he, Sudhir Bhai told, he actually called from my phone. So I was there when he was talking. And then the time was around 1:15 or 1:30 in the afternoon. Just remember the time. So he called and he asked Daph what happened. And then she was explaining, Master, it's been raining and all of this. And I believe Hemal Shah was also there next to her. So they both were there on the line and then they were on the loudspeaker. And then Master Choa told, okay, listen and listen very carefully. He said, what is the time now? And they were looking at the time. So obviously, like it was like around 1:30ish, 1:15, 1:30, something like this in the afternoon. He told by 4:30, it will stop raining. Now then you will have enough time to do your work and try to finish off. When I'm bringing the donors tomorrow, I don't want them to see all the rainwater or the mud. I just want them to see a clean ashram. So, and they were sharing that by 4:30. And Sudhir Bhai, he was telling that the next day his son took, when they bought a camera, just they wanted to see what was going on because he could not go physically. But anyhow, so by 4:30, it stopped. The heavy rain, it stopped, and it was just like a mild drizzle. And then Master Choa went there, and then his son, Sudhir Bhai's son, he was wherever Master Choa used to go because that was an instruction from Sudhir Bhai. Don't uh, always focus on Master Choa. I wanted to just record everything that happens. And then, so then I believe they also show that when you go to the ashram. I'm not sure how many of you have seen that, but anyhow, so totally the rain almost stopped, just a mild drizzle, and even that mild drizzle was happening when Master Choa was inside his quarters or in his room or in his villa. The moment he came out, even that stopped. So, so I don't know what else to say. So he was a master. He was an extremely humble a master who could what to say, like control certain elements of nature, a great disciple where he did not take any credit for himself. Everything that was there, he said that nothing is mine. I'm just waving my hands. It is my teacher who's doing the healing. And he would always remind us that my teacher is the sun. I don't have anything of my own. So extremely humble disciple, extremely powerful master, extremely generous person. So there are many facets of him. Like a father, he used to. There's one of the stories where he went to Sudhir Bhai's daughter's wedding, and then the way he was walking around and everything, it's very beautiful when you read it. Like he was like the bride's father. He was taking care of everything. When he was asked to just sit down inside, he did not want to, but he was just no. We have to take care of this. We have to make sure the food is right. People are being served properly. So all of that. He was more like a father kind of thing. One of them, like Acharya Shashi, in the next volume that will come. But he used to say that for me, he was like a child. He was so innocent, so childlike, and then he was so curious about everything that was happening, and so something like that. And like I'll just give you one or two examples where he was such a jovial person also. Like in just like we say namaste, just like we say namaste in Hindi. Do you know what we say in Tamil?
Vanakkam.
Vanakkam.
Yeah.
So Master Choa found that extremely amusing. He liked that word. He said sometimes in the retreat he will suddenly stop and he was up to some mischief. We knew that. And say, you know what this Tamil people will say when they have to wish someone? And they'll say, they'll fold their hands, they'll say, wanna come? So he says, can you imagine like you're talking to a beautiful girl and or I don't remember exactly if he said that, but that was his context. You're there and you're telling, wanna come? So he used to, and he'll say that and he'll start laughing. So sometimes someone will crack the joke, like Sushil Joseph. He was the vice president. So he used to say that sometimes, like once in the hotel restaurant, they were sitting there, and then they just he just cracked a joke, and then Master Choa was laughing like anything, and then it was so loud, and then after some time the laughter stopped, and then once again he would ask, Sushil, can you repeat the same joke? And then he cracked the same joke, and then he would laugh like anything. So there were many times like this. I heard from one of them. This is not there in any of the books, but because I was not, this is not 100% validated, but I heard from one of the senior pranic healers long ago. But once he had a chili in his hand, and he just took out that energy of that spicy energy, and he gave it to someone. They just ate it, and there was no spiciness. And then someone else thought that, okay, this chili is there, there is no spice in this. They started eating, and then they really had trouble with that. So then he had to do healing, and then he had to clear up the energy, and he was laughing. Something, he was just playing with them. Another instance where Ramani Joseph, who was one of the trustees of the foundation, they had been to one of the ashrams or somewhere, some ashram, in Bangalore or something like that, where it had rained, and the whole area was like there was lots of mud and dirt and slushy. So, and there were many snakes also, because it's like inside a forest, something like that. So there were small snakes all around and all of that. And people, some of them were scared also, and they were telling, Master, there are lots of snakes here. How can we even be here? So if you and I are there, we'll say, yeah, we just have to be careful and something like that, right? No, Master Choa, I believe he said, oh, so we can have snake soup in the menu. So he was like that. There's so many, like when I was talking to Sushil Joseph, he told that he shared whatever he could share, but he told we can write an entire booklet or like a book on just the jokes that or the fun part of Master Choa's when we had spent time together. So yeah, so I think that these were some of the things that really it had really impressed me, like a deep insight in the sense like these have really impressed me. I'm trying to adopt it. Still not perfect, but trying to get better every day.
So my next question, what does devotion mean to you? And also what does devotion do to you? Devotion to the teacher. Since you've written this book and you've, given it the name of Sharanagathi, since the name came to your consciousness, what does it mean to you and what does it do to you?
I remember once, I'm not sure if I'm going to write this or I'm not sure. Maybe I will write this in the second volume. But once I remember, Master Choa in a retreat, he was telling like some of the students who were there, or I'll give you one example and then move on to the story. There was, I think this was another place, so where he was teaching something, and in one corner of the room, I think people from some part of the world who were maybe very religious had come there. And then Master Choa, obviously, when he's in India, he's teaching lots about Hinduism. So he's talking about Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and all those things about Hinduism. So some of them, they were expecting something different, not to see the religious part. But so I think they were not very receptive. At that time, all of a sudden he stopped. And then he just looked around. He said, he did not point any area of that hall. He just said, in one of the corners of the room, there are some people who are not receptive to the teachings. And the teacher can see their aura gradually turning like a cactus. So why did I mention this? Because receptivity is extremely important. He would always say that you cannot pass electricity through an insulator like rubber or something like that. You need to be conductive. And he would always say that just Sharanagathi would take you to a very, very high level of spiritual development. And that's the whole thing about, he used to say that Lord Hanuman is one of the foremost Sharanagat. That's why he's always shown with Lord Rama and Lord Sita, his gurus, in his heart, and then carrying the mountain of the Himalaya. So that is symbolic, where if you are carrying the teacher in your heart, you can move mountains. So and Charlotte Should always used to say that the teachers and the teaching are one. There is no separation because the teachings are just an extension of the teacher. And he came for a very specific purpose. So now the question about devotion is, I remember once, look, some of the things that happen is sometimes I'm not sure if I have to even bring this up, but I'm just telling because I have seen some of them moving out of prani killing because I've been there long enough. I think almost 96 I came. This is 2026. So almost 30 years I've been there. I've seen some of the even seniors moving out of prani killing just because something happened in the organization. They were expecting something from someone who's more senior to them or their colleague or something. And something did not happen. And I think I was there at that time. And this has still kept me. I cannot think about life without prani killing. So So at that time, he was mentioning that your loyalty is only towards the teacher and his mission. So in those words, and he repeated that, I think he repeated that, something like that, but that word was explaining volumes. So when he was telling that, he was telling your loyalty is only towards the teacher and his mission, which means that there will be so many people who will come. Maybe there'll be seniors to you, maybe there'll be other prani killers, maybe there'll be some other organization, all that will happen. But as long as your loyalty is towards the teacher, you have Sharanagathi towards teacher. Now, what does Sharanagathi really mean? And this is something that Master Choa explained. He said when he was started using that word, he used to say that in war, many people, he said that when Sharanagathi, many people say that it is surrender. He said that it is not surrender. In war, when people surrender, their energy shrinks. But here in Sharanagati, when you spiritually surrender to the teacher, your energy really, really, really expands. So when he said that your loyalty is only towards the teacher and his mission, the only person whom we know is perfect. Maybe he has his own things to work out. We don't know about that. But anyhow, at least he always used to say, once I remember in one of the sessions in Bangalore, he said that your teacher's level of development is this. And some of your level of development is, he was almost bending down to the knees and he was showing that. So he said that sometimes your teacher will do things which will be questionable, which you will not understand. But your teacher's level of development is this. And in another occasion, he had mentioned that scan your throat chakra, because some of them, like this doesn't happen in the initial stages, but as we rapidly progress, then there are everything. If you have not done enough inner purification, things gets magnified, because the kundalini energy is like a fertilizer magnifying your weaknesses and your vices. So when everything gets magnified, it's very difficult. So, and the Sharanagati, and I remember once he was telling that some people here in one of the programs in Bangalore, he said that some of your heads are as big as this hall. What he was trying to say is, out of pride, your heads have become so big that you are not spiritually conductive. When you are not spiritually conductive, your growth will be very minimal. So when we say devotion, the other word for that is, I think the closest word is Sharanagati. So Sharanagati towards the teacher, and loyalty towards his mission. So in spite and despite of whatever happens in our lives, if you just focus on the teacher, have loyalty towards, like, this is my teacher and this is what he wanted, and then nothing is going to stop, because he said that you just have, and he used to give lots of examples where someone went to Africa, someone went somewhere else, and they had so many students. He said everything happened through Sharanagati. They did their part, but it is through their teacher that there is so much that had happened. So, and I remember there is one of the stories. I'm just giving this so that we have a deeper context of devotion. I can easily say just one or two words about devotion and then finish it off. No, you have to be devoted to the teacher. I'm just trying to give examples so that you can really relate to in real life. So there was another, I was talking to interviewing someone from the US, and that story is there in this book. So they said that they had been through extremely difficult time. Lots of karma was working out. Financially, they have lost their jobs. Health-wise, lots of health problems to their father, and many other things were happening. On all levels, their life was not that great, and they were not able to sleep for a long period of time. I think few weeks together, something like that. But when the moment they knew that Master Choa was in town, the husband wife, they decided that no, we are going to go and attend this workshop or be with Master Choa. So Master Choa, and someone had heard, and that had really caused them so much of upset. So then Master Choa was there, and then he was there in the program. And then this gentleman, he was talking to someone, and he was extremely sad, and he was extremely sad. And his wife, before that, he had actually, Master Choa had done healing. He mentioned that he asked, how many of you who needs healing? Many of them raised their hands, and then Master Choa just scanned everyone. He said, and his wife had not even raised their hand, but he specifically healed her. And then he was looking at the husband and telling that I'm doing a great favor by healing your wife. And he started laughing. And then after that, the husband was talking to someone. No, husband was sitting down somewhere, something like that. Okay. So Master Choa was in a group with a group of people, and Master Choa was talking. All of a sudden, Master Choa stopped the conversation, and then he looked at this person. His name is Michael. He looked at him, and so that he could get his attention. He looked into his eyes. The way Michael said is, he really grasped, like he caught my attention. So I started looking into Master Choa's eyes, because the moment Master Choa stopped the conversation abruptly and he started looking at me, I didn't have a choice. Like, I was looking at him and he was looking at me. Then Master Choa told 4 words, according to Michael. He said that has changed my life forever. He said, focus on the teacher. And then Michael said that he gave so much of gap between each and every word, and each and every word carried so much of energy. And when Master Choa was telling, focus on the word, it was speaking volumes. So what he explains is, when he was telling focus on the teacher, what he was really trying to explain is, there is so much of outer noise going on. Someone would have hurt you, someone would have told something, this is going on, you have this problem, that problem, so many things, there's so much of noise going on. But if you get caught up in those different problems, your life will be going in that direction. But if you are focusing on the teacher, when you focus on the teacher, you are focusing on the light. You will not get sidetracked. You will not be wasting your energy and all these things, and things that will become worse. Maybe things will become much more easier, and you can easily come out of it. Something like that. But he said that the rest of the life, whenever problem happened, it was always my focus was on the teacher. And so all this coming, putting all this together, I think that's devotion, whatever devotion would mean to us. Because for me, my level my level of devotion, or like what I am trying to do, is I just want his master. People have known him as a grandmaster healer. People have known him as a founder. People have known him as an author. People have known him as like founder of pranic healing and all of that. But the person behind him, not too many people know about that. So for me, this was my level of my Sharanagathi, or my level of offering my gratitude to the teacher for everything that I had received. So for me, that is devotion in any way possible. Each one has a different level of talent. Some could be a great organizer, some would be a great mentor, some would be a great healer, some would be a great instructor, anything for that matter, anything that we can do from our side in order to spread the teachings. And as long as we are allowing the teacher to work through us, I think that is Sharanagati, at least for me.
Thank you so much, Sadat. There's a lot of energy or depth to what you just shared now. Uh, so you have written books, apart from this. Can you tell us about those briefly?
Once again, as I mentioned, I'm not an author, so I was literally forced to write these books. Not that I had extra time or I'm so something like that. The first book, when I was in 1997, I was being trained as a pranic healer, I think we were about 11 of us. So we were because I was sending so many people to go and learn pranic healing, but it was not easy for them to travel all the way from Pondicherry to Chennai, which was almost like Chidambaram to Chennai, which was almost like 6, 7 hours of travel. And especially girls were finding it so difficult. So I went and they invited me to get trained. And so as I was being trained, one of them, they asked me to, because they knew that I have this medical background, they asked me, why don't you just write a small booklet about anatomy, physiology, and the organs? That's how it started. So I told, okay, give me of 1 week or 2 weeks, I will just write something. That's how it started. Then this was in 1997, and by the time I finished the entire writing, I think I was not experienced writing books, or I didn't know how to publish it. Nothing I knew how to get a graphic designer, and those days it was not easy. Those days there were no. This was in I think 96, 97. There were no cell phones also. So there were internet. All that was relatively, it was just starting to happen, or probably did not even start at that time. At least in India, it was not easy to do all of that. So anyhow, it took some time. It took many years for me, and then eventually that book, it came out as Basic Human Sciences for Pranic Killer. But now it's renamed. It's totally updated with very good information, very good pictures. I think it is quite complete. That's people from all around the world. They keep buying it. They keep sending their feedbacks to me and all of that. But the book is called Medical Guide for Pranic Healers. I'm not sure how many of you have seen that book, read that book. So it's on this, if you can, in India, those who want to order, we have not put it on Amazon just because it is very expensive on Amazon. The book is nothing less than 15, because it's all colored pictures. So when we went to the publisher, they don't want to give anything less than 1,500 or something like that for a fully colored version. So we just, before it was on Amazon, but it was quite expensive. And then many of them, especially I remember once, even Master Glenn was actually telling that when he has written what was that, a testimony on that book, or what do you call it in the end? He's written, actually, he told that this book is very good for pranic healers, and then he was connecting with me so that we can also do something with this book. And then, but anyhow, so he was also mentioning that the prices are quite high, so we need to make it more affordable for people. So then we started printing it, and the book, the website is Medical Guide for PH, FORPH.com. So if you go there, you order it. So then the publisher, he will send that book to you. If you're finding it difficult, you can just connect with me on Messenger, or maybe connect to me through Sudeep, or however it works, so that I can give you the right thing. But it's an extremely useful book. And okay, why did I read this book? There are so many books in the market, but there is no book, because in those days, not all this information was accessible on internet. So you have the anatomy, physiology is usually one separate book. Then pathology, diseases, it is another book. And then you have the values, lab values and all that, that is another book, which is a book of medicine. Then you have psychology, which is totally a separate book. So like this, there were different books for different things. So the whole idea of this is putting all these different subjects, anatomy, physiology, pathology, medicine, lab values, and psychology, and then the medical terminologies. And then we have added much more to that. Like there's a chapter called, a small chapter called pranic aromatherapy, and then there is a few more. I don't remember exactly, but we have added all that so that there is just one book, and then lots of pictures. I think there are about 200 pictures, if I'm not mistaken. Lots of pictures in that. I don't exactly remember how many pictures. Very nice pictures. And then you can use this. You can use this during your healing, because not too many people, pranic healers, they actually know about the diseases and all that. Someone comes with maybe osteoarthritis. Some of us know that. Like then they say that, okay, they have rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis. We don't know what it is. So this book, quick reference book, and the main idea of this book was to have very good pictures so that you can easily refer. And people are liking it. It's there in Kindle version also. In India, yes, you can just order through the publisher. Okay, so that's that book. Then the second book is called Pranic Living. That also I was not planning to write. But once again, when I was traveling, and after teaching students, those who are instructors, you may also able to relate to this. So when sometimes they will be going through some difficult times. They say that, oh, I have lots of attacks coming or lots of unwanted energies coming. I would just tell them that, why don't you just do the diversionary technique? Or why don't you do the whirling technique? Or why don't you do some technique? Or if they are traveling and they say that I'm easily affected with all these energies because I'm extremely sensitive, then I say that, okay, use the body fit shield. No, all these are techniques in different books of Master Choa, or use some specific stones, or there are so many things like that, right? There are so many techniques from the time you wake up in the morning till you go to sleep. We can use Master Choa's teaching in our everyday life. So the whole idea of the book was to just as a reminder that all these techniques are there from the time you wake up in the morning. How to start with an invocation. How to start with an invocation. Master Choa says that when you start with an invocation, it's like you are plugging into a higher voltage of energy. So you are so something like that he used to say. I don't exactly remember the words, but even before you get out of the bed, start with an invocation. Then after that, you have a shower. So it's not just ordinary shower. You use the pranic shower, the pranic way. You use the essential oils. How to bless the essential oils? Then you use salt and those kind of things. So then after that, then you are eating food. What do you do with the food? Because sometimes we travel, we eat outside food. So what do you do with that? Sometimes you are doing lots of mental work. So what do you do? What kind of things can you do to rejuvenate yourself? You can use some certain stones. You can use the super brain yoga. You can use the mental shield. There are so many different things. So without teaching the techniques, the idea of the book, it's a small book. It's about 150 pages, something like that. But the idea is to just remind people that all these different techniques can be used by pranic healers. And please don't forget that. That's the whole idea of this book. And then the explanation of, because many of the people in especially the Western world, they don't know what's the difference between Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Rama, Om Namah Parabrahmanam, or the 90 names. Allah. So just a little bit of all of that have been written in this book. So the idea is just give the essence of Master Choa's teachings or techniques without giving the actual techniques. So and then this book, Sharanagathi, is I have already told you why this book came.
That's a lot. Thanks for putting in the effort to make this available for all of us. So the final question for the session from my end: what benefits can we see when we practice Sharanagati in life, and what are the main takeaways that you would like to have the listeners from this session?
I think the benefits of Sharanagati, those who have been practicing that, you really know what it is. Things become so much easier. There is in one place, Master Choa says that what is not possible by you is possible by your Guru and God. So things that are impossible by us is possible through the blessings of our Guru and through the blessings of God. So as long as we stay connected with the teacher, and to stay connected, there is humility is one of the most important thing that we need to practice. I remember in one of the retreats he had mentioned that if you fall, because I think one of the major things that he was experiencing was students were there were lots of pride that was being developed, what that was developing. So there was less of bhakti yoga, more of jnana yoga. And then jnana yoga obviously takes you towards pride. No, not obviously, but that's the weaknesses of jnana yogi. One of the weaknesses is pride. So, and that's why even in the retreats, he'll always used to say that after practicing all this, after teaching all this, he'll say, okay, enough of jnana yoga. Now we'll have bhakti yoga. And then we'll put on some songs. He'll ask us to dance, sing, and all of that. Then he'll be blessing us. So that was very important. And then if you notice in the initial days of pranic healing, some of the people whom I had interviewed also, and obviously the acharyas also would say that the the preparatory level, there is nothing like a preparatory level in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. Preparatory level, arahati level 1, arahati level 1, level 2, and level 3 was all given at the same time. So that was the speed, because then Master Choa, if you read the book Origin of Pranic Healing, he writes that he assumed that his students, his disciples were also quite advanced and they would grow very rapidly. But that was not the case. He said that ruthless ambition, pride, and greed. These are the three weaknesses that came in the initial stages of human development. The word he used was, we were raw. We were raw in those stages. In the earlier, millions of years ago, he had mentioned that it has taken millions of years for you to reach this level of spiritual evolution. So the next even 1 to 3 incarnation is nothing to become an arhat or a holy master. So he was always talking about pride. And then when those levels were given so rapidly, everything started getting magnified. Like vices and weaknesses and your virtues both were getting magnified, and then that was one of the reasons where some of the students had left, because they were thinking, some of them were thinking they are better than the teachers, or they were questioning too many things. There's nothing wrong to question, because he says that you can question, but with humility. So but when there's too much of pride, there is lots of spiritual pride, and then you cannot see things as they are, because there are lots of delusion. And to have Sharanagathi, humility is extremely important. So that's when then he started slowing down. Even when we were given the higher levels, it was still faster. Preparatory was there, and then the other levels were also given quite fast. But now everything is slowed down, and I think that was very intentional, because they want the student to really do enough inner purification and then move on to the next level, so that they don't fall. So to answer your question, I think. What was your question? Sorry,
The question was, what are the takeaways from the session?
takeaways. Okay. For me, takeaways are as three things. For me, this is something that has kept me still grounded. And then, uh, so one of the things is, always remember that you are the moon, your teacher is the sun. If you are doing amazing healing, miraculous healing, always offer that to the teacher. Master Choa always used to discourage us from using the word I. When you are using the word I, he used to say that it brings lots of pride. So sometimes most of the time, Master would always use that. We did the healing, we went there, we did this, we did that. He said, yeah, he was telling that intentionally. I I use the word we, because it gives you humility. So remember, and then, so anyhow, remember this. I'll just share this example of once when I was talking to Charlotte. She was so much the way she used to talk. She said that once I was in a restaurant, and then she was all alone, and then someone came for a to they came to collect her order, and then she was telling, we would like to have an orange juice. We would like some juice. She was ordering something, and when she was repeatedly telling, we would like to have, then she said that the person who came to collect the order, he was surprised, because when he was telling we, he's looking and he's asking someone else coming, because no one usually uses the word we, right? She got so used to that word. But anyhow, so he used to say that avoid using the word I, try to use we as much as possible. So remember, your teacher is the sun and we are the moon. So always be thankful for whatever he's offering. The second thing is focus on the teacher. Focus on the teacher. Focus on the teacher. Like anything that happens in your life, if someone has hurt you, or any of your seniors have told you something happens in the organizations, many things can happen, because Master Choa has, in this book, it is already written there. Once with Swarnamala, she is the Dr. Swarnamala, she is the trustee of the Andhra Foundation, and she mentioned that they were in the Osho ashram, and then something happened, like some shooting or something like that happened, and then she said that, Master, how can this happen in a spiritual? See, they were in the Osho ashram in Pune, and then she said that, Master, how can this happen in a spiritual organization like this? And then Master Choa right away said, you need to be practical. As long as the founder is alive, everything is going to be smooth. Look at what happened after the founder is gone, inevitably things will change in the organization. So he just told that you just have to be practical about that. Look at Hinduism, look at Islam. You have Sunnis, you have the Shias, you have different Ismailis, you have different sects in that. In Buddhism, you have, after the passing of Lord Buddha, you have the different sects in that: Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, Tantrayana, and there are different other groups also in that. And Hinduism also, though there is not one founder, but most of the different thing in Christianity, there's the Christian, the Protestant, the Seventh Day Adventist, the Jehovah's Witness. There are so many organizations. So So many things can happen. All I'm just trying to say is there could be so many things that can happen, and even if it doesn't, even if it happens, as long as we focus on the teacher, as he was teaching Michael, just focus on the teacher. If you focus on the teacher, we will not be sidetracked. So that is the second thing. First is knowing that the teacher is the sun, you are the moon. Second is focus on the teacher. Then the third is the loyalty is towards the teacher and his mission. So I have been using this personally. I think, and that has kept me, in spite of anything that happens. Nothing has shaken me. Nothing has shaken me. So I think that's about it. That's what I had been using, and this has helped me. So you can see out of all these different things that I had mentioned, you can uh, you can adopt anything that you want to. But also, please read this book because it is amazing. And yeah, I think the next book I have still not started because I'm just taking like a break from this thing, because there is no point in just printing the book and then just moving on to the next book. We need people to read this book. So wherever I'm getting an opportunity to talk about this book, I'm so happy to do this because it's an opportunity for me to talk about the teacher and his humility and his generosity and everything that he has given us. This is the smallest thing. We cannot repay the teacher. We cannot repay this teacher in this incarnation or many incarnations. We just cannot, because the amount of what he has given, you cannot repay the Sadguru. But whatever is possible, a little bit from our side, we can do it. So please read this book, Sharanagathi. So the next edition, maybe I'm not sure, maybe a year from now or something. It will. That's my idea. Maybe hopefully next around April, May, somewhere around that time, if I get time to do that. Because once I get started, it really takes so much of time to finish this.
We hope to have you again, sir, for one more session when the next edition is released. We will open up floor for questions. We would encourage everyone to please ask questions as related to the topic. You'll have 1 minute exactly. Please keep your question short. If anyone would like to unmute, please feel free to unmute. You can unmute. Anyone who wants to ask a question can unmute. You'll have 1 minute exactly in the interest of time to ask your question, and please keep it related to the topic.
Sir, I
Questions.
have a question.
Yeah.
So I've also written this in the chat. We always hear about Master's vision in 150 years about heaven on earth. So it doesn't seem to be coming true because the world is in so much turmoil right now, and it doesn't sort of make sense to our logical mind. So could you please share what was his thinking about that mission? Why did he say 150 years?
I think my brain is too small to see that big picture, but Master was a visionary, and we cannot comprehend his level of thinking. I remember once he was telling that he was just showing like this in one of the gatherings. He said that what you know about the teacher is the tip of the iceberg. So in the iceberg, just a little bit of this is what is shown outside. The rest is all hidden inside. So we have no idea. But if he has that vision, there is so much of energy that will be there. And if you read this book, you see that slowly things are happening, but slowly and quietly things are happening because he always used to have a parallel plan, a backup plan. And if we are not doing what we are supposed to do, he will pick and choose someone. And some of the stories which I've written will add this in, which will give you more clarity in this book and then the volume two. How he's picking and choosing some of the people who are new, and then how things are happening. So, but all you need to do is you can even just scan and see how it is. Things will happen. Like if he has said that he would scan everything, because for everything he used to scan. He used to scan, and when even he was scanning about India in around the year 2006, he was scanning, and he said around 2000 he was scanning for the material energy and then the spiritual energy. When he said by 2030 the energy is becoming stronger, but still not very strong. By 2040 it is becoming the spiritual energy, and then this energy is going to be much more stronger. By 2050 the energy was quite strong when we scanned with him, and he said that that is the time India will be one of the superpowers. So So he was scanning, and then his level of scanning was extremely magical. And then Master Choa had mentioned to one of the things, which one of the senior students, he said that pranic healing will inevitably continue for the next 2000 years. Because he said that this is the age of Aquarian, and Aquarius is connected with air, and air is connected with air means energy. So pranic healing will continue to grow. So now how much we are able to get into the system and then do it'll happen. It's just been about 15 years, right? But slowly things are happening around the world. Things are happening. Like if you see the other countries, and yeah, I just, if Master said that, it will happen. That's all. Or that was his intention. So we are. That's why he always used to ask us to bless. So it is our job to make that happen. Like he being a guru, he can have a certain vision, and he always encourages us to do our best in order to do that, or like to fulfill his vision. So there's lots of energy that he has blessed with, his teacher has blessed with. So maybe here and there, but he said that if this happens, then it will be heaven on earth. So when the question of if this has happened, then it all depends on how much we can do our part in order to fulfill his vision. That's why loyalty towards the vision is also extremely important. The question is, I think this is one of the most important questions. Like once in he said, there was a huge group, and then he said that he stopped, he paused, then he said, make your teacher proud. Make your teacher proud. So it has so much of depth in that. And then the question that I used to ask, or people have to ask, is when he is meeting his teacher, has he made his teacher proud? Yes, 100%, 1000%. Now the question we need to ask ourselves is, how much am I doing to make my teacher proud? Am I a worthy instrument? Am I being a worthy instrument? Not that am I as long as we, yeah, something like this. So the question we need to constantly ask ourselves is, if I meet my teacher and he asks, like, if I'm meeting him, like, will I be happy that I have made my teacher proud? So that is a question you need to ask yourself. Okay, anyone else?
In fact, sir, in one of the retreat videos, he says the way we can give back to the teachers to grow and evolve.
Yes, yes, yes. And once he has asked this question also, one of the retreats, I think he had asked, I'm giving you so much, all this different, he did not say like, I'm giving you so much. Like, obviously, he's given all these courses to make our lives better and all of that. Then he asked, do you know what the teacher really wants? And then that's when they started telling, yes, one pranic healer in a family, and different people. NJ Reddy, actually, you have to read his chapter. That is about the vision of Master Choa. That's a beautiful chapter. And not everyone, a Bhakti Yogi may not be able to relate so much to that. It is more of a person who's extremely visionary would be able to relate to that chapter, because he was a commander. So his style of everything was totally different. So, but the thing is, he said that when the teacher asked, what does the teacher really, have you found out what your teacher wants? So then they were thinking of it, and there was so much of gravity or so much of depth in that word, those words, according to what he shared. And then he says that we said once, maybe one, we said one pranic healer in a family. And then later on, he told, okay, how is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Like, how many Arhatis yogis? So he went into all those details. And then eventually, that's where he started noticing that the crowd or the focus is more on the cities, but it has to still go to the rural areas. And then that's when he finally, then he came up with this 150-year-old plan, or the great vision.
So sharing, sir. Anybody else who would want to ask questions? Please keep it related to the topic. Questions which are not related to the topic, we would not be taking it. You have also 1 minute to ask your question in the interest of time.
Could master be in two places at a time?
Ma'am, we'll keep questions which are related to the topic, please. We won't be taking it. Sorry.
It's there in the book.
Okay.
It's there in the book.
Yeah, there are a few instances that has happened. One is there in Rocky Patel's thing, because as we progress, that is one of the siddhis of the soul. So I will not go into details, but and this was very common. Like Charlotte had shared that with me personally. I think that will come in the volume 2. But even in volume 1, there is this story. That was possible. Lots of people have shared this. Lots of people have shared this where Master was there in some other country when he was already in some other country, and this was quite common. And Master just used to smile, and then he would smile, and then he would just leave it. Like one of the, I think I will leave it for the next book also. This book has some, but in the next book also I've added one thing which Charlotte had personally shared it with me. Yes, that is possible. That is possible. As the, I don't know if I have to say this, like as the 12th chakra starts expanding, or as the soul starts expanding, bilocation, multi-location, all that is part of the evolution of the soul. Even in Autobiography of a Yogi, there's a chapter called The Saint with Two Bodies. And so there are many saints, like Sai Baba was known for that. Many saints have been known for that. Okay. Anyone else?
Anybody else would like to ask questions?
Hello, Atma Namaste. Thank you so much for putting in all the efforts, Syed sir, and we would love to, because many of us didn't get an opportunity to meet him in person. So thank you and all the other authors who have shared. We would love to read more of these. So please continue to put in your efforts, and we will put in our efforts to read and then adopt those teachings and also spread the word. So thank you so much. No
I think
question.
one of the ways you can also spread the teaching is just gift this book to people.
Yeah.
I think who was that? I think Sushil Joseph. I'm not sure if you know him. He was the vice president of the All India Pranic Healing Foundation. And then when Mr. Sundaram, who was the president, who was based in Bangalore, and he was not feeling well, he was the acting president. So his story I have added. And now when he, like all these people, like I have sent them copies of the book as a gift just because they have shared their stories. He had mentioned that I think more number of people are going to come through this book because just like Paramahamsa Yogananda had mentioned that my book Autobiography of Yogi is going to be my messenger to spread the teachings of Kriya Yoga. So the same way, this book with all these beautiful stories of all the senior healers, you can just give it as a birthday gift. Just share it on your Facebook, share it on different platforms. And someone in Hyderabad, they have started doing a book reading of this book, just gathering together and just reading. Last 1 week or something like that, they have been doing that. They invited me for a talk. But anyway, anything that is possible at your level, whatever you could, please do that.
Definitely, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So I hope this session was at least gave you, we cannot describe the teacher, but at least a glimpse of how he was as a human being, as we saw him, as a guru, as a disciple, as a child, as a father, different personalities. One thing that we need to remember is one thing, I think I will not talk anymore. Master Choa, he knew his time, and he was traveling for almost non-stop for almost 14 years. From what I heard, just during the Christmas time, he was there in his thing. He was every week, he was there in different countries, continents. He used to travel, but short time he would come and he would come and stay in Philippines. But the thing is, when he traveled, he was, just imagine, like I travel quite a bit. I travel quite a bit for my work. But when I travel, like it takes some time, especially coming from Canada to here, it takes at least 2-3 days at least to come out of the jet lag. But he used to go, then the next day there would be a workshop, or it will be not just an ordinary workshop where he's teaching. There'll be hundreds and thousands of people whom he has to heal, he has to give Shakti. But so please, okay, I think I'll just mute it. Okay, so I'll just so when he used to do that, like he used to eat, he never had any Shakun Goyal, she says that, and others also, they say that like he was just eating anything that was given to him. After many years, they would come to know that he liked Chinese food. Not too many people even knew that. So anything that was puri was being given to him, he would eat it. Anything, chapatis were given to him, he would eat it. Anything that was given, he would eat it. He was not there to be with their children when it was their birthdays. When his birthday was there, we would celebrate his birthday here in India. Most of the time he was there in India when it was for his birthday. And next year, we would already plan for his birthday, not even as if he was our property. Not even thinking that what would the family also maybe wanted him to be with him, spend time with him. But he had given his entire life for us, and he was a millionaire, he could have easily just stayed at home. He would just written his books and then he would have distributed something like that. But he did whatever he had to do because that was a promise he had given to his teacher. So the question is, what can we do about whatever he has given us, and then how we can spread the teaching?
Thank you so much, sir, for today's session. We extended by an hour, but still we had
Oh, it was extended by a month.
full house. Thank you so much for all your efforts. And thanks to everyone who's been here today, who spread word about this message. Firstly, we as a team, we are grateful for the reception, and we encourage everyone to please purchase the book, to read the book.
Yeah, and also in the press where they are printing, I think I'll send that to Sudeep. It's Notion Press, and then they give a 15% discount if there's a coupon code. So you can get a discounted price, and even if you want to buy it in bulk, so it will be much easier if you get a discount. I'm not sure how much is Amazon doing with that. So something else. Okay, so that also I thought I'll just mention that to you.
Thank
And
you, sir.
anything, Sudeep, what was your experience? I just want to hear, like, what was your takeaway, and what is it that you like?
Oh yeah, for me, the stories are amazing. It's uh, without a question. This is a book that everyone has to read, especially the souls whose stories are there. They have lived the teachings. They've seen it. They have transformed their lives. They've transformed their lives by spreading the work. So that it's a must read for everyone. For me, on a personal level, there was a story of Matisa which I was reading. I even sent this message to Matisa. There's a story where his he's energized, like Master Choa blesses his forehead chakra. At the time of reading that one story, I could feel my forehead chakra being expand, and I could feel bliss in my entire body. I don't know, how this manifests, but this is a must read for everyone.
Another lady in Hyderabad, she had mentioned that as I was reading the book, I was just seeing light in my hand and the aura was just expanding. So one
Wow.
of the things also you can do is just do invocation and then read the book. So I think it is about master. So I think you can get so much more from that.
So if I
Thank
can,
you.
if I can just share one more, insight.
Sure, please.
The first time when I came into pranic healing, I was healed, and in my, the healers healing center, there were books of Master John. For me, more than the techniques, what drew me to the teachings were the stories that people used to write. In the pranic psychotherapy book, in Origin of Modern Pranic Healing and Arhatha Yoga, there are so many people who have shared their stories. It gives, it adds an element of faith and hope. For me, that is what drew me to the teachings. And I believe in the same way, this book, it's not just a one-time read. It's not. It's something that's meant to be studied. It's a lifetime study. Books like Origin of Modern Pranic Healing and Arhathic Yoga, this book as well. I believe all these are supposed to be studied during times of crisis. So that's again my 2 cents.
Yes, that's true. That's
Thank you.
very. Someone else, Mamta, she's mentioning I felt the same thing when I was starting to read the book. Do you want to quickly share, Mamta, what you felt?
Oh yeah, I'll let you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you, Mamta ma'am. I'll just give you an opportunity to unmute. I've muted everyone so that we don't have any other extra noise. You can share, Mamta ma'am.
Hi, Asma, namaste. So when there was a friend of mine, Ratan, who recommended the book. Although I had seen on Facebook and all, I was following Dr. Sayed, and I wasn't sure earlier. But once he recommended, I instantly ordered it, and it came after a few days. As soon as I touched the book, I felt like this huge downpour of energy. And then I also like scanned my aura. And then my husband had just learned the basic pranic healing course. And I told him, like, please scan. You also practice your scanning. And he was like, how is that even possible that your aura can be so huge? So it was really, really beautiful. Just holding that book actually is I don't know, it's just like overwhelming, and there's a down, tears keep flowing, etc. So it's really, really beautiful. Thank you so, so much for sharing it, sharing the stories with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mamta ma'am.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much again for your time. Uh, can we please close the session with a small prayer? So you're on mute actually.
Okay. So we will finish it with the Thanksgiving. Do you want to do that, Sudeep?
No, sir, you can please do the honors. It's all yours. The session is all yours.
So you can close your eyes, relax your body, feel the presence of the teacher. Feel the teacher as a huge beam of light entering into your crown. His energy is entering into your crown, spreading throughout your body, throughout your soul. And allow yourself silently say to Master Choa, Master, please use me as your humble and a powerful instrument to spread your teachings in whatever way is the best for me. Every opportunity in my life, I would like to use it to spread your teachings. You have done so much for us. And please use me as a powerful and a humble instrument to spread your love, light, teachings, and your compassion. We thank you. The Supreme Being, Divine Father, Mother, we thank you for your priceless blessings. To Lord Mahaguruji Mailing, Master Choa Kok Sui, all the higher beings, all the spiritual beings, and all the great ones, the beings of light, love, healing, and to our divine self, we thank you all for your priceless blessings. We thank you, extremely grateful for all these priceless blessings, for this opportunity to share these teachings and share this love of Master Choa. Thank you, Master Choa, once again for this opportunity. We thank you. We are extremely grateful for this. With lots of gratitude, respect, and love, we thank you. In full faith, we thank you.
Thank you so much, Syed sir. Always a pleasure to have you.
You're welcome, Sudhir. Thank you so much once again for the opportunity, and thank you all for your patience or whatever I should call it. So thank you for being there and listening. Thank you so much once again. Atma Namaste.
We'll be uploading this on YouTube so that everyone can watch it at their convenience multiple times. Please read the book. Please gift it to others. And have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.